It is now my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Her Excellency President Ameenah Gurib Fakim of Mauritius, a country that has done so well in building up its infrastructure to support its impressive economic development. President Gurib Fakim, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere thanks for the opportunity to speak at this forum. And indeed, I'm greatly honored to be associated with this very important event. So I bring you greetings from the government and the people of Mauritius. And as the MC has just said, the director has said, what I will try to do is just to explain to you, or rather give you some facts and figures about what we've done so far to promote investment and wherever we can leverage what we have in Mauritius in terms of institution, how to best address the needs of the continent and, of course, beyond. So, as you know, Mauritius is a small island state, a SID, and we have benefits, but we also have quite a few challenges, predicaments, and particularly vulnerabilities which are well documented. And the investment SIDS will have to make to achieve the SDGs will include, for example, climate action, resilience building, which are, of course, simply disproportionate to the scale of the task, which warrants special discussion. But anyway, what we are hoping for is, short of the requisite partnership and support, the aspiration of SIDS, Mauritius, for example, is to transform their economies, improving the lives of the people, so that, Thank you. And it is in this context that the policy of the government of Mauritius is firmly centered on economic diversification and is actively promoting foreign and domestic investment. The continuing importance of both domestic and foreign direct investment, the FDI, cannot be overstated, as they are generators of employment, income, and vehicles for technology transfer and means for higher economic growth. So in recent years, the government of Mauritius has been especially intent on attracting FDI from emerging economies. And throughout the liberalization process, government has cooperated closely with the private sector, emphasizing the importance of private sector-led growth and introducing supportive legislation and policies. So I'll just quickly brief you on some of the multiple reforms that have been undertaken, and these include strengthening provisions for investor protection. The World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report gives Mauritius a score of 6.5 out of 10 on the strength of investor protection, which places the island at the 29th position out of 138 countries, economies covered. Opening most economic sectors to foreign ownership, 100% foreign ownership is allowed with no minimum capital requirements. The board of investment is actively promoting and facilitating all forms of investment and acts as a one-stop shop for investors. And enactment of the business facilitation measures on a yearly basis in order to attracting investment inflows in Mauritius by privileging simplification of business procedures and of the fiscal systems. As concerns incentives for investors, and in line with this rationalization strategy, Mauritius has gradually moved away from investment regime based on numerous and overlapping incentives toward one based on a low tax regime. The tax system in Mauritius is simple, with a single taxation rate of 15% for corporate and personal tax in order to create a level playing field for everyone in the country and to improve tax administration. In recent years, this rationalization strategy has been particularly spearheaded by the government of Mauritius as regard to simplification of the tax framework. For instance, the reduction of registration duty from 13% to 5% and harmonization of property taxes for foreigners and locals at 5%. Tax holidays are provided in a few strategic sectors. The regime for business licensing and acquisition of property by foreigners is also streamlined. Non-citizens may acquire or lease property for business purposes. They may even acquire residential properties in smart cities or the property development scheme. Today, any non-citizen may come and invest in a high-rise apartment leased ground plus 2 floors, either as an asset class or for personal residence. Companies may be incorporated in a single day, an occupational permit granted within a week to enable investors, professionals, and self-employed to reside, work, and start their activities. The Companies Act has created a unified core legal regime for all companies set up in Mauritius. We have also built a sound network of investment protection and promotion agreements, IPPA, notably with other African countries. And here we have, coupled with this network of double taxation treaties, 49, it reinforces the country as a major investment hub for FDI into Africa. And many investors channel their investment into Asia and Africa via Mauritius, as the country offers offshore jurisdiction traditional advantages, such as favorable tax policies, combined with the benefits of its BIT, such as core protection standards and access to investor-state dispute settlements. The IPPA program and the prospects to engage further into treaty negotiation is part of this strategy to establish Mauritius as a launchpad for investment. So far, Mauritius has signed 44 IPPAs, out of which 23 are with African countries. And these IPPA play a crucial role to strengthen Mauritius' unique position as a gateway to investment in Africa. And just now we've heard about the need for integration, and we will increasingly use that platform to promote further integration of the continent. So the Mauritius business environment has visibly improved because of these many reforms. To further this progress, a joint public-private sector committee meets regularly to discuss on strategic business and investment matters. This meeting helps to identify bottlenecks and review systems, procedures, and legislation in order to continuously improve the business environment in Mauritius. So in Mauritius, the FDI has trended between 18 and nearly 20% of gross fixed capital formation, which compares quite favorably against international standards. And net FDI inflow in Mauritius has increased almost by 41% compared to 2015. The policy context and investment trends in Mauritius thus depicts a strong and maintained momentum for simplifying business establishment and rationalization, investment incentives, and tax frameworks so as to better stimulate foreign and domestic investment on the Mauritian economy. In addition, it is important to highlight that Mauritius has an independent judiciary, and in order to facilitate commercial and investment arbitration proceedings, there exists an International Arbitration Act that follows the UNICITRAL model law on international commercial arbitration, LCIA, and is therefore in line with global best practices. Mauritius has therefore the right legal framework and ecosystem for international arbitration. The LCIA Mauritius International Arbitration Center provides a venue for the conduct and administration of both domestic and international arbitrations. The Secretariat of LCIA and MIAC also holds, in cooperation with the International Council for Commercial Arbitration, biennial conferences that are attended at the highest level. Endowed with a set of arbitration and mediation rules, MIAC ambitions to establish Mauritius as the first choice of arbitration for the resolution of cross-border disputes in the SADC region. Economic uncertainties aside, the changing pattern of FDI also provides challenges as well as opportunities. An increasing share of FDI is now originating outside our traditional market of Europe. We are seeing more investment from China, India, and the Middle East. It is also a notable feature of these new region that emerges. Acquisition and partnering are also often a favored route for expansion rather than direct investment. Needless to say, competition is also intensifying as an increasing number of countries focus on FDI to provide an additional source of economic activity. Hence, more countries than ever are ramping up their effort to develop attractive FDI offerings. Therefore, the range of options for Mauritius, in absence of a large market natural resources, is limited to the easing of investment restrictions, the improvement of the investment environment, and the nurturing of traditional and emerging economic sectors. So in this sector, we are pushing with new areas, new emerging areas like medical sciences, clinical trials, biotechnology, and the ocean economy. And recently, we have set up the biopark in Mauritius, which has witnessed an increase in preclinical and clinical trials from major international cosmetic, pharma, and nutrition companies and industries. So it is clear that with the Knowledge Hub, along with biotechnology and new emerging technologies, as well as improved ICT and access to telephony and internet services, we are going to move up into increasingly the knowledge economy. So these existing sectors will thrive, like tourism and real estate, which have been very, very prominent in our economy. But of course, we expect others to emerge while some of the previous one will decline. So the 10 years alone, we have witnessed such many changes. So we have also seen the global business services develop into a key driver of the economy with the establishment of major banks and regional headquarters. Meanwhile, the manufacturing sector has been transformed with the reduction of lower value addition activities and a new focus on high value add manufacturing and research and development. So to ensure success and to move to a higher income country, we are bolstering the existing sectors such as ICT, higher education, free port, the apparel and textile, and as much as exploiting new opportunities like blockchain, fintech, robotics, and replacing declining activities. And we are also providing incentives to the private sector to develop new smart cities and technopoles across Mauritius. So these smart cities are mixed-use development comprising office, business, residential, and entertainment component, all integrated in a coherent master plan focusing on innovation, sustainability, efficiency, and quality of life. The smart cities will become the new business hubs with an environment-friendly working, living, leisure space, aiming at generating their own resources in terms of energy and other utilities and providing for the state-of-the-art connectivity, smart modern transportation, and reducing traffic congestion. So in doing so, Mauritius is promoting the orderly and economic use of development of land. And at the same time, it ensures the proper management, development, and conservation of natural and man-made resources for the purpose of promoting the social and economic welfare of the community and a better environment. So long-term investment made by the government in areas such as infrastructure, education, technology have underpinned Mauritius' successful FDI endeavors to date. And these investments created the environment that enable Mauritius to drive the growth of new sectors and areas of activity. So what we are hoping is that by virtue of the positioning of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, we are really hoping to live up to our previous historical name. That is, we really want to be the star and the key of the Indian Ocean and really act as a bridge between Asia and Africa, and investment flows from Asia into Africa and vice versa. And with this, we are sustaining the improvement of the local environment in terms of framework, in terms of facilitation, so that business can happen. So a continued focus on investment in skills, property, and infrastructure, as well as competitiveness is required if we want to replicate our past successes into the future. So for more information, we have got some leaflets around which we can share with you. So I thank you for your attention and all the very best for the conference.
Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.